Hello, everyone. This is Yemmy the Ferret coming at you with a top 10 list. This is a redux, a reissue of the 2019 top 10 games list. The one that I originally made, I've been thinking about this for a while, redoing some top 10 lists, and not the newer ones. Like, pretty much from like 2020 onward, I'm good on those lists. But there is a lot from 2019 and before that I either didn't play enough games in that year because it was before I was making a good amount of money to buy new games and stuff like that. So I had to wait for sales and stuff. So now that I've played plenty more games from 2019, I figured it's time to go back, re-look at my top 10 list, and shuffle it around or just redo it because now I have many different opinions and many different games that I would put onto this list. And I'm going to try and do this pretty quickly, just a little quick thing because the main video still stands. Like in 2019 when I made that top 10 list, these were the top 10 games that I enjoyed the most, being Rad, Hot Lava, Jedi Fallen Order, Katana Zero, Borderlands 3, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Ukulele and the Impossible Lair, Untitled Goose Game, The Outer Worlds, and SteamWorld Quest, Hand of Gilgamesh. At that time, those were my favorite games from the year, and I stand by that. But as the years have gone on, I mean, we're getting pretty close to, we're pretty much 5 years removed, maybe even 6 years removed from that. I decided that it's time to go back and quickly go over what my new top 10 list is, and I will be updating it on my GG app as well. I'll be adding a new list in there called Top 10 Games of 2019 Redux. This is the new version that I'm going to go by from now on. At number 10, I'm putting Jedi Fallen Order, or Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I think this is a really good Souls-like game, a pretty good beginner Souls-like game as well. The one thing that really pushes this game back on the list is all of the glitches, and the game is now... So we're 6 years or so removed from this game, and there's been multiple different versions of the game coming out, even a PS5 version now, and it still really hasn't been fixed to my liking. It still has plenty of glitches and things going on that just are really weird. And with Jedi Survivor being out, and that one also being laden with glitches and didn't even make the top 10 list the year that came out, even though I really enjoyed it, I felt like Jedi Fallen Order, it's going to slip a little bit here because... there's obviously a lot more games that came out that I enjoyed a lot more, but my main issue with it was that it was just a very glitchy experience that really just needed to be cooked in the oven longer. And even though it got some longer cooking now, it still isn't like fixed for what I like. But I did enjoy the exploration. I mean, this is one of the first Star Wars games to come out. This was one of the first Star Wars games to come out after the acquisition by Disney, and it was really good. I really enjoyed the story. I thought the ending was super bombastic and excellent. There's an AT-AT section that I really enjoyed. I love Cal as a character. I think he's a great character. I also like the supporting cast as well. And it's just a really good start to this new storyline, this new characters for the Star Wars universe. So very enjoyable. Good boss fights in there. Good boss fights in there. And a killer ending to boot. So, very good game. Coming in at number 10 here, Jedi Fallen Order. At number 9, we're doing Katana Zero. This was a 2D action platformer game where it was a one-hit kill for you and a one-hit kill for your enemies. This is a very stylish and like super cool game. Very crazy soundtrack. I love the graphic style of this. It's getting some new DLC this year. This is from some new free DLC this year, which is kind of crazy. It also kind of jogged my memory to redo this because Katana Zero, it's been on my list since the original days. And it was just a very awesome experience. It's a great story. I love the challenge to the game, the platforming, the one-hit kill scenarios. Obviously, Ghost Runner is on. I think it's on my 2021 list, right? Ghost Runner came out in 2021, and that game kind of has the same feeling as Katana Zero, but the Katana Zero definitely has a different vibe. It's much less Neo Tokyo. I mean, it's still like a Neo Tokyo type thing, but it's 2D instead of 3D, and all that stuff. So, Katana Zero still coming in at number 9. Still very enjoyable game. Let's move on. Number 8, Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. This is still going to be on the list, but it's a little bit lower than you might expect. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair does things that I really, really enjoy. It's very much inspired by Donkey Kong Country. The levels are so interactable and there's so much going on. I love how each level has also a reverse side to it, so you can do something special in the overworld, which will affect things in the game. It's in the level itself. So there's one that's like buy a honey pot or whatever, and when you originally go through the game or the level, there's no honey anywhere. But if you spill the honey in the overworld onto the book, well, now you go into the book and now there's honey everywhere inside the level. So it's a really cool dynamic there, and you're pretty much just trying to get as many bees as you think you'll need, and then beat the impossible lair itself, which is the final mission there. And compared to the original Ukulele, this is a much better experience in my opinion. I tried to go back and replay Ukulele several times now. It just does not click for me, even though I love Banjo-Kazooie with all my heart. This is like the same developers. They just did not hit the nail on the head with that. But with the Donkey Kong Country inspired game, Ukulele and Impossible Lair does that. It does everything that I wanted to do and more. So Ukulele and Impossible Lair still on the list, a little bit lower than it was before, but it's still here at number 8. Number 7, it's still here, folks. Untitled Goose Game. There's a couple of repeats here at the bottom. Untitled Goose Game is one of those games that I felt like it's just a fun little puzzle game. You play as this just obnoxious goose who goes around stealing things and causing mayhem in this small town. I love the music in the game, and the art style in the game is so fantastic. I love the ending of the game as well. Once you finish everything up, you take your bell, your prized bell, to your collection, and you realize that, oh, this goose has been doing this for many, many years at this point. So he is the menace that you know he is in the game, right? And I love the simplicity of it, but I also like there's some complexity in there with some of the puzzles as well. It's kind of like a Metal Gear Solid, except you're a goose, which what's not to love. So yeah, Untitled Goose Game, number 7. Number 6 is The Outer Worlds. This used to be number 2 on my list, but now it's number 6 because there's other games on here that I thought were just better in general. And even though I still do really enjoy The Outer Worlds, I don't think it's number 2 quality at this point. It's a game that I tried to replay a little while ago, and I just it's a big game, it's an expansive game, and I just felt like I don't really want to go through this again, which did deducted points in my mind when I was remaking the list here. But it's still a fun little sci-fi adventure made by Obsidian, who is now back under the banner of Bethesda and Xbox, which is kind of crazy, right? And it's got some wacky bits to it. It's got some pretty deep character building. I really enjoyed the worlds that you explore and the side quests that you can find. And all in all, I thought that it was in general just a really fun open world sci-fi adventure. Obviously, I'm not talking about the Switch version of the game because the Nintendo Switch version of this game was kind of really bad. But I played the PS4 version. Awesome. Had a great time with it. Number 6, Outer Worlds. Number 5 might come as a shock to a lot of people, but I gave it to Days Gone. I replayed this game a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that, and I had always given it like a 7. And when I played it this last time, I bumped it up to an 8 because a lot of the problems that I had with the game, I didn't really have that problem this latest time through. I do still have some issues with like the story and the AI in the game is still a bit buggy. The freakers, they're called in this game instead of zombies, they're freakers. I don't feel like they have the best AI. They don't really work the way that they were intended, right? Same thing with like enemy AI as well. Like it's definitely a step below The Last of Us, the original The Last of Us, which is just kind of crazy to me that this is a PlayStation studio and they don't have a Last of Us representative go there and be like, hey, here's how we made our AI for our characters so good. They didn't do that. But the stuff that I really love about this game is the survival aspects of riding around this world on your motorcycle, fighting hordes of freakers, and finding this really cool story in the game as well with the like the government and whatever being involved. And the post-apocalyptic stuff is always pretty cool, especially when it's this expansive, and Days Gone does just that. I do still think that it falls apart a little bit in the third act, but all in all, I mean, I really enjoyed my time with it, and even when I originally played it and gave it a 7, which is still a great score. I mean, don't get me wrong, but even when I played it back then, I really enjoyed the game, and I guess it just slipped my mind when I was making the 2019 list because I feel like it would have shown up on there anyway. But I digress. Days Gone at number 5. At number 4, I bumped up Resident Evil 2. This used to be number 5 on my list, but now it's number 4. I bumped it up because, one, I think it's a better zombie game than Days Gone for sure, and two, I've replayed Resident Evil 2 so many times at this point. I've gone through so much of this game. I probably could, I probably could go for a platinum trophy at this point. But yeah, there's some things that I just don't want to do because I find myself having so much fun with this game. The various difficulty modes, which add even more challenge to it, more enemies, more stuff to do. I like the duality of the two different sides of the story, one being Leon, the other being Claire. I really like how different they are, how different they control, how the different weapons that they get throughout the campaign as well. And then also there's like a secret like third storyline where you're playing as like a agent, like a grunt, and you gotta fight your way out of the sewers. And I think they've also added some other things in there as well that I haven't really touched. But Resident Evil 2, it's a fantastic remake of the Resident Evil. I think everyone can agree with that. And it was the original one. It was the original one that restarted the Resident Evil like style. I mean, after this game was Resident Evil 7, which also got very high praise, and I credit Resident Evil 2 remake with kind of like revitalizing the series, get people back into it, and then since then they've really exploded with the Resident Evil stuff. So it's cool, really enjoyable still, and that's number 4 on the list. Number 3, Remnant from the Ashes. I am surprised that I didn't play this game until after 2019 and I made this list because this is one that I have enjoyed from the get-go. I feel like I did play it in 2019. I don't know what happened. That's why, like, I look back at this list and I go, why wasn't this here? Why wasn't this here? I can say like, oh, I didn't play, some of the other games on this list that are coming up. I didn't play them right away. But Remnant feels like one that should have been on this list from the start. I mean, I've played just like Resident Evil 2. I've replayed Remnant from the Ashes so many times with so many different styles, with so many different people. My most latest playthrough of the game was on stream like 5 years ago at this point, and it's just one of those Souls-like games. It's pretty unique for its time. It was a third-person shooter Souls-like game. Lots of cool enemy design in there, lots of great boss design in there, and then also multiple playthroughs of the game give you different bosses. So the first playthrough of the game, you could get the giant tree boss who drops like poison eggs, I guess poison fruit from it and enemies, right? Or you could, in the same place, well, not the same place, but in the same style, on the other end of it, you could get the big giant fire dog who breathes fire and attacks you with fire attacks and claws and stuff like that. So there's also more to a replay than just, going through the game again with all my weapons and blah, blah, blah. Well, no, you got new enemies now. You got new enemies, you got new bosses, got new areas to explore. And that's the thing that I love about Remnant from the Ashes. And they tried to do it again in Remnant 2. It didn't work as well as I was hoping it would. But Remnant 1 stays within my heart as one of my favorite Souls-like games, and also is a very unique one, all things considered. Even it's still unique even compared to like Remnant 2 in my opinion. But yeah, Remnant from the Ashes, excellent game, deserves to be number 3 here. Coming in number 2 is Devil May Cry 5. Yes, this is an excellent game, and it's actually one of the first games that I streamed on Twitch. Was Devil May Cry 5, and I don't normally stream like newer games my first time through. I'm doing it more recently right now with the first Berserker Kazan, but Devil May Cry 5 was just a random pick for me to play because I didn't really play any other Devil May Cry games except for the DMC like reboot game back in like 2014 or whenever that came out. So Devil May Cry 5 was like a blast of like chaos, honestly, and I loved it so much. The hack and slash mechanics with the guns and the fist and the all the stuff that was in this game. It was just so awesome, and it's been a while since I played it. I do want to replay it eventually down the road. I want to play through all the Devil May Cry games because number 5 is excellent. I do enjoy DMC. You know, it's not like it's shit in my opinion, but Devil May Cry 5 is definitely one of the most bombastic and excellent games from the year. And I just, you know, I was debating putting this at number 1, but number 1 has to be number 1 because maybe it's recency bias, but number 1 has to be number 1. But Devil May Cry 5, excellent game, really enjoyable, great graphics, awesome soundtrack, amazing boss fights, really fun combo system and weapons to use. And it's definitely one that everyone should have played by now. And it does have a PS5 version too, and I think an Xbox Series X version. So definitely check those out if you so desire. And then coming in, the new game of the year for 2019. And I'm not even fully through the game yet. I just know that this is going to be my favorite game now. And that's Death Stranding. And I know you might be saying, Yemmy, that's kind of blasphemous for you to say, because you say that you need to finish games before you put them on your list. Yes, I usually do. But Death Stranding is one of those games where I know in my heart that no matter I feel like no matter what happens from this point onward, it is my favorite game from 2019. And I mean, what more is there to say that hasn't been said about Death Stranding? Honestly, I mean, a lot of people say that it's just a walking simulator, but that is just flat out wrong. I think the people who say those things didn't get past that first area of the game, which is sad because I think that, you know, even though the first part of the game is... I mean, I think the first part of the game is fine, honestly. Like, I think the first part of the game does the job well of setting this whole universe up and setting up the mechanics of the game with, you know, delivering packages and stuff like that. I think it does a great job with that. But what it does once you get to that second area and you start to dive into all the different mechanics that they are piling on top of each other, that's where the game just really explodes into being just a fantastic experience. Like, the start is good, but the rest of the game after, like, I don't know, episode 2 or whatever is just like skyrockets. It's so good. There's so many crazy moments in this. There's so much like information to soak in. So many great performances, so many good characters, so many great moments. I mean, there's even like boss fights in this game, which I thought have been really good too. I love the mechanic of having these BT like ghostly figures around, and you need to skirt around them, and obviously get more stuff to take care of them as you go on. But it's still a challenging thing to skirt around them and pick up packages or pick up items that you need that's in the area, or find materials to craft together new buildings and new roads and stuff like that to make your job a little bit easier for the time being. And there's so much going on in this game. It's hard to really put it all into a short package. But Kojima cooked with this, and I apologize to all the Death Stranding fans out there because it took me way too long to see the light on this one, and that is just my own fault. I could have played it. I could have played it in 2019 because I've owned the game since 2019. I literally played this game in 2019. I just did not get very far in it for some reason, even though I was very much enjoying it when I played it. So that's my bad. I'll take that L. But I also am righting my wrongs here and officially saying that Death Stranding, no matter what happens in the final quarter of this game, is my favorite game from 2019 now and forever. I hope you're not too angry with me coming back and redoing my top 10 list. I know it's a bit shocking because I usually stand by my list 100%, and even though I do technically stand by this original list that I had, when I go back and look at this one, I say, well, that I could probably take that off, and I would probably move that, and I would definitely wouldn't have that at number 1, and yeah. And you might be wondering, okay, well, why didn't SteamWorld Quest Hand of Gilgamesh make it onto your list again? That was the game of the year when it originally came out, and I gotta say it's because I played through other SteamWorld games like SteamWorld Heist. And I've realized that SteamWorld Quest, even though it's a really fun and excellent card deck builder kind of game, I love it still. You go back and think about it. I went back and think about it, and I was like, well, it's probably not like Game of the Year material. And I just knew that, like, yeah, it's just not my game of the year anymore. It definitely is not, especially after playing a lot, like most of the other like games that I've talked about. So that's that. Hate me later, but don't hate me now. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're not too upset. And I will talk to you in the next episode of Fair 64 and or on live stream. Have a good day. Bye-bye.